For January the 16th, 2026, we talk about Pathologic 3, Nubby's Number Factory, Queue Up, and much more. Welcome to Level 571. My name is Kaye Ross.
I'm Dennis Furia.
I'm Moxie.
I'm Ben Merkel.
And you are listening to The Level. It's a podcast for people who love video games. Welcome back, everyone. Yeah, I'm so tired.
Oh, no.
Of everything? Or
No, I mean, I'm in the middle of a big thing. I don't mean to make everything about it. But I had
Well, here, Kaye, what's been going on with you? Now you can make everything about it.
Okay, all right, yeah. No, continuing to move, continuing to deal with Facebook Marketplace people. Let me put this to people on the call, and then maybe in the comments. All right, so say you list something and you get a lot of nibbles. Right, you get a lot of people doing the hi, is this still available? Blah blah blah. I go with the first person who asks, is this available? And say, yes, it is. And do not do that with anybody else until a certain amount of time has passed. I'm like, all right, obviously you don't get it. So then I go to the next person, then the next person, then the next person. Apparently this is overly deferential. Because it does lead to an awful lot of like waiting around, and giving people who were not really that interested, a chance to like hold it up. The other strategy, the one that I, found out, and learned from family, was just like tell everybody, hey, it's available, but interest is rising fast. Which of those is the more, is the better approach? Because I do not like saying, yes, it is available, and then turning around and saying, actually, no, somebody else bought it, when I'm the person in control of it. Feels like I'm going back on what I said.
So I think it's actually you need to go farther with the approach. What you do is, say there's 9 people, you eat, that kind of nibble. You then send each of them a message saying like, oh yeah, 8 other people are interested in it, so you need to move fast. Yeah. That's I believe that was the purpose of saying like, oh yeah, people are really interested, was to do the pressure, not the name specifically, because I could just make up a number. What I thought you were going to say was like ask each of them what their address is for a drop off, and then give that address to like somebody else and say hey, go here and pick it up.
In case you ever wonder who the chaotic evil one on the podcast is.
The thought occurred to me, but I didn't do it. That's chaotic neutral at best. The most annoying of the alignments.
Keep telling yourself that.
Yeah.
No, I think you should just say it's available, and let everybody duke it out. As soon as somebody is committed and there's a pickup time and stuff, then you can tell people hey, I have someone for it, but I'll let you know at this time if it's still available, if that falls through.
Okay. All right.
The percentage of people who will commit, tell you the amount of money and arrange a pickup time and then still ghost is high enough that you can't wait for everyone. I think
I had one show up to pick up to buy a toolbox, like a nice Craftsman toolbox that was I got it was my grandpa's, which makes it sound like I was more attached to it than I was. It's not like his his the sentimental workstation kind of deal, but somebody came out with their truck. It was a big back and forth, and then when they saw it, they said, "Oh, I thought it was wider," and then left. I was like, "All right, well."
I wouldn't give to have that kind of time.
I know, right? You drove from 40 minutes away too. It was wild. Yeah. So. So I'm neck deep in a lot of that, and also still in the process of listing stuff,
I'm because when I went through this 6 months ago, it's basically things that were big money items. I sold those and was more judicious about that. But then anything that was like $5 or $10 below, it's like, this is free. Like, just come pick it up if you want.
Yeah,
sort of thing.
I'm not selling anything for less than $10. That is not worth the back and forth on it.
Yeah.
I think my my favorite dumb way I approach this is when I moved from San Francisco. I'd moved very, very quickly. And, went to the mail, shipped a whole bunch of stuff. But at the time, I was, for some reason, sleeping in a hammock.
Okay.
And, had one of those hammock rigs, the big metal rigs, and, packed it up. But, tried to mail it. It was going to be too expensive. I just talked to the guy at the mail thing, be like, hey, you want a hammock? And he's, sure. Just gave it to the dude.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Here, have this hammock.
Bonus hammock.
Yeah. No, so like I've got like all the stuff like set up in my garage, like on shelves and stuff. So like when somebody comes to get it, I can just be like, all right, here's this. Might have also just said like, is there anything else you see that you want? So
Are you coming on to me?
No. I didn't say it like that. So somebody came and bought they bought like a container, like basically a bunch of my old like action figure toys. But I had gone and picked all the ones that have sentimental value out of it and just listed it. It was like $10. And he said, I'll give you 20. And I was like, I know this is probably worth more, but I will take it. He came and then he was like, wait, are you selling that bike? And I said, yes, I am. So,
nice.
Amazing.
Little strategy. Yeah. The only thing I have going on is I had to get a tooth crown replaced this morning.
I'm sorry.
Planned or unplanned?
Planned.
Either way.
It popped up at a exam earlier this or late last year. So I learned that they have a device that they call a crown cracker. That is basically a flathead screwdriver that looks for all the world like you would use a hammer. It's got like a really like wide base to it, and I was like, that's really
chisel-esque.
Scary. Yeah, very chisel-esque. Like he was like, oh, he saw me like pull back from it, and it's like, that's yeah. The other thing is the mold that they took for the temporary crown. Got warped or something, and so I had the distinct pleasure of having the dental assistant pick up basically a Dremel and say, all right, I'm gonna have to freehand this.
Oh fuck.
I made the joke on Blue Sky. This is my molar. It's not a drawing of Spider-Man.
Yeah, nothing can good.
Not yet.
Nothing good can happen after that phrase is uttered.
Yeah. She did carve the cool S into it, though.
It's the official part of the curriculum now.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
The thing that caused me to leave the dentist that I've been with for like the early part of my career is I had to go in and get a crown put in. And the lady like doing it was like, this is kind of I'm going to get some help real quick, and got up and left, wandered awkwardly around the office because everyone else was super busy, and then just sat down and kept on working on it. And I'm there like,
that doesn't inspire confidence at all.
No, and it was not on correctly and caused a lot of pain, and not with them anymore.
Yeah, no, that's awful.
So yeah, that's you want that to go to plan.
Yes.
No freestyling in crowns.
Right. But this is just the temporary one. I'm getting the permanent one put on in a couple of days. So
okay.
Yeah. I've taken up enough time. Ben, what's going on with you?
Honestly, not too much. We celebrated my partner's birthday last week, and I think the only thing that we did of note over the weekend is we watched the Golden Globe Awards, which I was into, and I was pretty into the results of. Ray
Seahorn finally got an award.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I watched that show actually within the last week or two as well. Pluribus.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I was waiting for the first season to finish, and now I need time to watch it.
It's like similar to Breaking Bad. There's like a lot of really cool parts in the main story, but then there's plenty of like montage sequences throughout every episode. That's like, okay, cool, but
yeah.
You could have probably trimmed this down a little bit.
See, we're kind of laying into the montages in Better Call Saul, and some people are like, "Oh, I really like the montages."
Yeah,
it's hard to get more efficient than a montage.
I know, right?
Not all things are worth showing. I will say that.
Yeah,
got it.
But, well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Let's see, Moxie. How about you?
Man, honestly, not a whole lot. Just kind of recovering from the holidays more than anything.
Cool. Yeah. And Dennis.
Yeah, I got unbelievably another dental hijinks story.
Oh God.
if we're up for it, literally from today. So, Kaye, you and I are surfing the same seas or sailing the same seas. I got a text from Jen, who until this evening was traveling for business, and just said, "Good luck with your dentist appointment." And I was like, "What?" Then I open up my calendar, and sure enough, there's a dentist, entry, and I'm like, "Oh crap!" And thankfully,
were you late?
No, I was on time. We are 5 minutes from our dentist, and I got this probably 10 minutes prior. So I come in the door, in the nick of time, and walk in, go to check in. They're like, sorry, spell your last name. And I do that. What was your first name again? And I do that. And they're like, you're not on here. Turns out I mentioned switching dentists, right?
Yeah.
Turns out in the changeover, I had not deleted the old appointments that you place on your calendar 6 months out.
Right.
And just when Jen had noticed that and said something, I did not get through the mental step of like, oh no, that's probably an old one. So, just was standing there in front of all the receptionists being like, cool, I look like an idiot right now. So
I'm sure it happens a couple times a week.
Yeah. So it's like, see you in March, I guess. And went to the Dairy Queen across the street and got a Blizzard to make sure I will need the dentist in March. So,
what flavor Blizzard did you go to?
They always have like seasonal stuff on the menus. It was some sort of like Choco Explosion Extreme or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know. I can't be arsed. Let's be honest. I'm in a Dairy Queen. Like what I get is what I get. So it's like that sounds good. I'm not going to inquire. I don't be like, how's your chocolate today? How are those chips? Do you,
Whoa, what's them chips do? Yeah. Yeah.
Sir, this is a Dairy Queen.
Anytime I veer off of the mint Oreo Blizzard or Flurry or whatever, I am disappointed. So I just stick with that. I just stick with the mint Oreo.
That's me at Graders. I know I like Buckeye Blitz and I will never stray.
Yeah.
Buckeye Blitz is great.
Yeah, Dairy Queen, again, they got all the seasonal flavors in it that gets me.
Imagine walking into a Grader's ice cream parlor and not getting the mocha chip.
Yeah.
They do have the Skyline flavor ice cream there right now, which was a reason for us to do that.
Oh, I really want to try that.
It's not good.
It's better than your first thought of it would be.
Yeah.
I had some really good frozen yogurt. Gelato actually. It was everything bagel flavored gelato that actually tasted exactly like an everything bagel. It was kind of uncanny.
Huh.
I guess you put cream cheese on an everything bagel, so the dairy component is there already?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to be really generous here.
Yeah, I mean, at least they didn't go with the fish, so...
Yeah, just really when they mix the lox in there. Oh, it's frozen. It's fine. It's fine. You asked the question, Moxie, and then you didn't answer it. What's your go-to Blizzard?
Either the Reese's cup is usually my go-to, although the they're like pralines or something is also really good.
And Ben, since we know everybody else's,
I don't Blizzard.
Oh, okay, cool.
I'm sorry.
That is an answer. It's not in the spirit of the exercise, but
well, because I guess I've gotten blizzards at like McDonald's before, and there I'll do Oreo. But
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
Sorry,
Oreo's classic.
Ben, could you adjust your camera up so we can see you on your high horse?
I don't know that is. I mean, McDonald's is a more common. Like you just run into more of those. I don't think that's a high horse thing.
Oh,
Well,
no.
I thought of that joke before he said he
often-
went to McDonald's, and then couldn't get off the track.
Well, but think about it. How often do you actually find the Blizzard machine working at the McDonald's?
It is kind of a shiny Pokemon situation, yeah.
Yep. God, now I want more Dairy Queen. I had Dairy Queen earlier today.
Oh, man.
Also Pokemon.
I want to eat a shiny Magikarp.
That probably would be pretty good.
Not good for anything else.
Yeah, so that's banter, I think. Let's talk about some video games. To do that, we need to do the regular kind of show, what with the grind, the multiplayer, and the end boss. And why don't we get started with
The grind.
The grind, where we talk about the games we have been playing over the last period of time or so. Who has something new? Okay,
I've got a new one. Yeah, and I've actually been playing this for a little bit, but I've just had more interesting stuff to talk about each week until now. So
Okay.
take that for what you will.
So now the boring stuff.
Yeah, now the sloppy seconds. I've been playing the new season of Diablo.
Okay.
And they
Sorry.
That's a
released. Oh, hey. There's a new expansion coming up, and it's got two new classes in it, and one of them is released now in this latest season. So the Paladin is finally out, which is like your traditional sword and board character. So
Yeah, people were clamoring for that.
they were
Yeah.
bemoaning that there really wasn't anyone in the base game and even the first expansion that like feasibly would use a shield. So here we are, and it is a very well done class. Apparently, and maybe it's just because the algorithm saw I was playing it, but it sounds like this season has had more staying power and had more people like invested in it than typical, and they've really struck a good balance in the game of making the grind and the loot chase fun and feel attainable without it just being mindless check the box stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, there's kind of 4 new world events that have that you can kind of cycle in between. And the big new thing is that you can sanctify a piece of equipment, which is once you've done all the upgrading that you want to it and have it exactly where you want it, you can take it to the special altar and then get a random bonus stat put on it.
Okay.
Could be any one of a number of things, but the big thing is that once you sanctify it, you cannot make any more changes to the piece of equipment. So you can't swap stuff out, you can't reroll any more stats. That is the cherry on top of your perfect piece of gear.
Do you choose what stat goes on it, or is it random and like the magnitude of it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's always going to be good, but it will be randomized. It can be like just a general quality boost to the entire item. So every stat on it, goes up by a little bit, or it could pick one of the stats that goes up by a lot.
Okay.
Yeah,
that doesn't sound worth it.
Well, once you've got a piece of equipment where you want it, if you don't want to make any more changes to it, it is because you've reached the end of how you can upgrade it. The trouble is, Dennis would be playing the game in a bit of a state of altered consciousness and get a little willy-nilly with the sanctification. Mm-hmm. And then log back in the next day and be like, I forgot to put gems on any of this stuff, or like, that had the entirely wrong legendary aspect on it. So just took this piece of gear and made it worthless.
Just gonna flush it down the toilet.
Get sanctified.
Get sanctified. And the worst part is it was one of those things where I went in being like, all right, I'm not going to do anything too crazy. I just feel like playing some Diablo, and I've got that stuff that I needed to sanctify. So I'll just do that. Like I thought I was taking the safe option. And congratulations, Dennis. Now you are back to farming for equipment again. So It's a cool little feature, and it can lead to like, you get a good piece of gear, that's exciting, and then you kind of upgrade it and get the right rolls as you upgrade it, and that's exciting. And then you kind of customize it to exactly what you want. Great. And then you're done previously. Now you kind of get this little extra bonus of like, can I take it to the sanctification altar and see what, this is already kind of the perfect piece of equipment for me. What's the cherry on top?
But it does require you to play Diablo sober.
Yes, apparently.
I don't know why I'm bagging on this game. It's just not for me. It's not like it's bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's made by Blizzard, and that alone, you can throw any shit you want at it.
Oh no, yeah, no, literally no smoke at you. I'm literally just like reacting as if you are me.
Yeah, but the Paladin, it sounded like Moxie might have had a question. The Paladin is a ton of fun, but.
So I'm curious, have they revealed at all, like, how do they deal with the collapse of the Zach room?
This is where you're a lore nerd and I am hardcore not. I play with the sound off and listen to podcasts while I play.
Oh, okay.
Like I have not skipped a dialogue option in probably years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the Paladin's religion like collapses at the end of Diablo 2. Actually, 3/4 of the way through Diablo 2.
Yeah, the sanctification is like there's an angel that has like broken into sanctuary that is not the main guy from Diablo 4, not Tyrael or whatever. It's some other dude who's like doing his own thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's about all I know. So you get to see a cool dude when you go to get stuff sanctified. But the Paladin, has a ton of really fun new mechanics. The one that I've focused on is, since the shield is the thing, you get a shield throw like Captain America style, and you can.
I thought it was the thing.
What's that?
Sorry.
It's the shield.
Yeah, you can also clobber with it.
Okay.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah. All right.
But so you shield throw, and then you can make that ricochet. Then you get like basically a judgment or a smite that like you basically judge all these enemies, throw your shield, and they all pop. And that is very satisfying and fun. It's probably not the optimal Paladin build because there's 2 button presses to explode everyone instead of 1.
Oh, your APM is cut in half. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. But it's one of those things where I just kind of went in, I didn't think about it too much and just like, oh, that sounds cool. Oh, that sounds cool. And wound up with something that was playable. And that's what you want. I don't want to have to go to a guide and super optimize to be able to play on the way that I want. And so the Paladin has done a good job of that. There's a version. So I'm focused on the shield and judging people. There's a version where you become an arbiter, which is where you basically turn into an angel and like fly around. And then there's something with hammers where I see a bunch of people running around with just like a hurricane of hammers around them. So there seems to be at least a little bit of build diversity around it. But the side effect of playing as a paladin in the season that the Paladin was released is that everyone is a paladin. So,
right. Yeah.
I've seen like maybe 5% of other characters that I run into the world are not a paladin. So yeah, but they seem to have the game in a really good place with the season.
Nice.
I would love to see them just slowly bring back all of the classes from Diablo 2.
What's left that they haven't brought back yet?
Amazon.
Okay.
Assassin. Or no, Assassin might kind of be in there. Amazon.
Kind of the rogue, yeah.
That's the only one I remember. The Necromancer that doesn't suck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's so season to season. Like what classes in vogue changes as they change the game. Was because the last expansion had Spiritborn, which was kind of like a staff wielding or glaive wielding. I would have described it as an Amazon, so I don't know how close that is.
Yeah, Amazon was mainly like archery and boobs.
Yeah,
okay.
Javelins and stuff like that. Yeah,
what a combination!
Like it's basically like the Amazon replaced the rogue from Diablo 1.
Yeah.
That's what it was. So I wouldn't be surprised if by having the rogue there, they kind of folded in the
That's a good point.
the Amazon and the assassin. Yeah.
Now keys. So that is what I've been playing.
Cool. What's the other class that they're going to be adding?
I don't know if they've said yet, actually. Or if they have, I have not retained it.
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Did you have anything else besides that?
No, that is the one. That's kind of been the undercurrent in everything else I've been playing. So
yes,
assume I'm still playing all my standbys plus Diablo now.
Cool. I'll go. So most of my game playing time has been beating the RoboCop game for Watch Out for Fireballs. I only bring that up, Moxie, because you should play that.
Ooh. I will definitely do that. I've been looking for what to play next.
I know you like big dumb shooters, and RoboCop is good. So that's also a very funny game. What's up?
Does it incentivize you to get dick shots?
There is an achievement for doing it.
I feel like we need to be more specific because I'm just imagining RoboCop being like down into his pants.
I don't think he still has.
Oh no.
Yeah.
It's just another gun.
2A03. Oh, Jesus. So no, the new thing that I've been playing, I streamed a couple hours of Pathologic 3.
All right.
This I knew this was coming, but I didn't know that it was out until somebody just asked, so are you going to stream Pathologic 3? And I was like, well, I guess I have to. So
now I am.
Yeah. So Pathologic 1 was kind of the basic story of the town on the Gorkhan, that gets the sickness, and you can play as 3 different characters, the Bachelor, the Haruspex, and the Changeling. Pathologic 2 is kind of a remake of Pathologic 1 while being meta and a successor to it. But you can only play as the Haruspex, Artemi Burak, the son of the local doctor, one of the few people who was allowed to cut into bodies. And I thought that Pathologic 3, which is about the Bachelor, who's a doctor from out of town, Daniel Dankovsky is from the capital, a real rich boy, just super snooty kind of guy. I figured Pathologic 3 is going to be the story from his perspective. There are some changes, to the mechanics and, narrative focus between the two of those. No, this is still a first person running around this town and very hostile kind of game, but the mechanics are different. So
is that good?
I need to see more of it. I like it so far, but I don't know. Maybe after a couple of hours, it is unfair to say this. It is unfair to say this. I need more data. The thing that is present right here is on the face more simple than what you do with the Haruspex, because Pathologic 2, it retains the survival mechanics and economy kind of stuff from Pathologic 1, where you are constantly fighting to kind of balance your meters of, hunger, tiredness, thirst, infection, and reputation, right? And as the 12 days of the story go on, it gets harder and harder to do that as supplies get more constrained, as things get more expensive, etc. At least so far, this doesn't have that. Instead, what you have is the Bachelor's mental state, where there's just one bar. It is at the top. And you are tracking a position between apathy and mania. And if it goes too far in one direction, you die. Like you just have an episode, like you just like I think that's implied that you kill yourself, or it's at least shown. But like The Bachelor is very unstable and out of his element in this very hostile situation where people are manipulating him and such. And so like this very much puts you inside of his head to the point where like you have kind of a detective vision in this, but instead of showing you like a path to where you're going to go or highlighting interactable objects, it'll do those things. But also, if you focus on something, you'll get like a little cloud of Daniel's thoughts about what he's seeing. And there are some things where if you focus on it too long, it has an effect. It pushes you further in one direction or another, and just using the detective vision like drains your energy and pushes you like closer to apathy. You can balance this out by getting medicine, using caffeine and sedatives and stuff like that to basically speedball yourself and to continuing to go on. But just like things you do. So like I reflexively, in playing this game like it is Pathologic 1 or Pathologic 2, so much of that game is rooting around in the garbage. Right, because you're looking for trash to trade to kids for medicine, to trade for water, for all this. Like all trade starts in the garbage can. But like as the Bachelor going up and like trying to go through the garbage, he just kicks it, and then you get a mental health hit. Like it puts you like it makes you a little bit more manic doing that. So like I'm not sure like what the economy in this is like.
Yeah, is it like all drugs go in one direction and all like observation goes in another for the balancing, or do different things move in different directions?
Different things move in different directions, and also like dialogue choices will have different effects as you are navigating them.
So dumb question, with the, I mean, other than just like an unexpected thing, like what you would never attrition and die of mania because you could always detective vision it down, right? Or is there some limit?
Maybe you could do it. I think that it's possible that the swings get so big that you can get hit or end up in a bad way, or maybe after a certain amount of mania, it doesn't drain anymore when you're using it. But like when you're mania, like there are benefits to being a mania. Like you move faster as well, and you can detect more when you are like in the detective vision, kind of deal. Which is important because this plays more like an adventure game, like where you are, basically eventually you get a hospital set up and you start like doing like diagnosis and like detective work to figure out precisely what treatment people need by, checking out their story and talking to them and looking for stuff and then mixing the components together to make the right medicine.
So I watching the trailers, I can't quite suss out. Do you always progress through the days linearly, or is a feature of this that you can kind of jump back and forth between days?
So that gets into the timey-wiminess of the fact that this is both a sequel and a remake of Pathologic. So like with the Bachelor, like you arrive in the town and then you're doing like flashbacks for your tutorials, like back to your academy in the capital where you're trying to research immortality. And you get a few of those, and then you're playing in the first day, and then eventually like I forget what it is that happens, but you start seeing like glimpses of like future days in the same area. It's like you're just walking in the middle of this festival, and then you see, just flaming piles of bodies and people strung up from the poles, and like army men and mass with flamethrowers going around. And then eventually that like breaks entirely, and suddenly you are after the events of the game, Daniel has survived and is back at the capital, and you're talking to an inquisitor who wants to figure out what happened in the town. And he lays down like something that is possible to have happen. Like it's a story beat in the first game where at the end of the fourth day, you attempt to escape the town and they catch you and throw you in jail. And Daniel's like, no, I didn't attempt to escape. And then you flash forward to day 5 after you've been in the jail and you have to get out. And then you get to your tutorial about the infected districts and stuff like that. Huh. So like it's implied that through the telling of the story, because that is a lot of what this is ultimately about, like Pathologic in general, like is presented as theater almost, but like in telling the story or running the play differently, I guess that is one of the ways you eventually beat the disease, by changing the events of the past that would have happened before you got there.
You're telling me the narrative around a disease is an essential component of how effectively a society can treat it.
Yeah, weird, right?
Right, huh?
Yeah. So I'm not sure how much control you have over it. Like no other Pathologic thing has had the nonlinear time element of this.
It's a storytelling convention rather than a mechanic, it sounds like.
Possibly.
Unclear.
Unclear. It is, again, I have not gotten past the first day. The things seem to be very confused, because the Bachelor wants to present himself in a particular way, and the events do not necessarily line up with how he would like to be presented.
So all of the like screenshots and stuff like that I've seen of Pathologic, the previous ones, it's all like people in like masks and bird people and like little goblin dudes and stuff like that. Whereas when I was watching you play, it was all like Cockney like urchins and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Is this different parts of the game, or did the graphical conventions change, or is that a spoiler?
It's not precisely a spoiler. It's pretty clear what's going on. Like this is something that is more explained for the Bachelor. Like, and that's why Daniel's campaign was the one that you wanted to play if you were just sitting down to Pathologic 1, because he is coming from an outsider's perspective. And though people are manipulating you, they are, also it's just like, I have no idea what's going on. You need to explain this local custom because you're like way out on the Russian steppe, is what this is. So like, you're talking about like, basically just like all of them exist in the town. Most people are, human, basically people who came from the capital. The local people, like the tribal folks, from around, are called kin, and those can vary from human but with a different kind of culture, to like the goblin looking kind of guys called the worms or the odong, and the tweer dancers, the kind of like naked-ish women who are of the kin, plausibly not human. Those ones. Then the bird people that you are seeing and the guys in the white masks. The bird people are executors, and the people in the masks are tragedians. They are part of the theater artifice. They're there playing roles, and whenever they show up, it's really bad news. Like at least in Pathologic 1. If you fuck up and, do not hit somebody's side quest for a particular day, or sometimes if you're just unlucky, like when you roll up to somebody's house, you will see an executor standing out front saying, you don't want to go in there because that person is sick and they're going to die if you do not get them a cure today. And then like all of their content is just cut off. You no longer have access to. Yeah. Yes.
Mr. Rossetti went dark.
Yes. Could be anybody behind those masks. Yeah. So like all of them just have different roles in the body of the story.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
It seems like a sweet like universe or a sweet vibe for games.
It's really good. Like it has some of the best world building. It's some of the best like just prose in games. The dialogue. All of your different options that you have. The archness of the different characters. The uncanniness of the kids. And then just the mystical things that do not seem to have any mundane explanation. The polyhedron, like the big like cocoon that like hangs over the town where all the kids are all of these like stairways to nowhere that you find, like implausible structures that are just stairways not supported by anything rising up. All of it has a place in the world and has like explanations and stuff, but it is a vibe for sure.
Now I'm wondering, like, which is more bleak, living in the pathologic town or living in a actual czarist peasant town?
For spoiler reasons, probably the actual czarist peasant town. But I mean, there's a lot of suffering. There's a lot of suffering in both. So
fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's Pathologic. Really dense. I am looking forward to getting back to it.
Yeah, and I don't think I need to, or I think I know the answer, but this is not a game that you can play if you have not played the previous games.
So, like, they're marketing it as one that you can jump into. Like part of the reason for the mechanical change is to make it a little bit more approachable, make it a little bit more into an adventure game, but you're still, feeling they're still mechanizing the desperation of things. I would have to play more of it to say if this is the one that you want to jump into or not. I think that maybe try Pathologic 1, the HD one that's just available on Steam. Just to get a sense for it. I think that what they are doing by making all of these follow-ups so specialized is like, maybe this will give, I don't know what kind of impression this is going to give you about what the others are going to be like. Whereas like the basic one is like this, the same across all these angles of the story, again, with minor mechanical things.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So a tentative, like, just start with 1. Yeah. Any other questions about Pathologic 3? Because that's all I got.
I was going to say, we know you haven't been playing My Winter Car because you're here. So
yes, yeah, and that's gotten a couple of patches since the start. So I think maybe a little bit of letting some people get that out of letting them get the bugs out of the system at the start.
Let other people beta test it.
I want the intentional jank, I guess. Yeah,
I was gonna say it's too easy.
Finnish one.
Yes, that is the Finnish small town in the 90s simulator.
Nice.
Yeah. Let's see who wants to go next. Moxie, how about you?
So I've been continuing on with Dead Island 2. Probably the coolest thing I've come upon is the story eventually routes you through a Hollywood backlot where they're shooting this like sci-fi movie where a giant spider is like attacking a town. Okay. And in that particular scene is like on top of the gas station. And there's a really cool, like, I forget, there's some reason where like the zombie horde gets called. I don't know, I forget what. But you have this great set piece level because, the whole thing is rigged with like pyrotechnics and stuff like that. That you can launch off and, various traps you can set. although I think my favorite is you can lure the zombies like in front of the giant spider monster and pull the lever to activate like the acid spit.
They were using real acid in this Hollywood movie.
No.
The goggles do nothing.
It sprays out, and your character response remarks, "Oh, it's water." Yeah, I guess I don't know what I was expecting.
Okay. We can only do this shot once.
Nice. Yeah.
So, that's been the main thing. Still continues to be. They've got a couple of set pieces that kind of just making fun of like influencer culture. That's a lot of fun.
Okay.
So it's a fun game. That is all I have.
Okay. Yeah. Like any changes to like the kind of the combat style that you're doing? Like, if there have been any evolutions in like how you're fighting individual things?
So I've gotten a dash attack. That it's kind of a close the distance and like stun an enemy, that sort of thing. And that's an alternative to, I don't know if I've mentioned before, you get like a ground pound.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that the game has is from the first Dead Island, like all of your characters are immune to the zombie plague. It's technically implied maybe that everyone with type O blood is immune.
Okay.
But either way, in this one,
what about people with type O blood, like blood? Sorry,
we're unclear on that one. Okay. But one of the
they become zombies.
So it's actually got a little bit of like the Bloodborne thing where like it's progressively implying that your character is like not turning into a zombie, but is gaining some zombie powers.
Okay.
Which is why you can now do like, ground slams and like, send out shockwaves because and likewise, like you regenerate your health, that sort of thing. Uh-huh. So it's kind of implied that
these don't sound like the canonical zombies of fiction.
Well, I'm thinking like special infected type things.
Okay.
Like, okay. There's always the like tank and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so have gotten those abilities, but have not. I know there's at least like a rage mode that you eventually get. However, I have not gotten that yet.
Okay. Cool.
Yep.
Ben, how about you?
Yeah, I got two small ones. First one, I think I talked about before, but I played the full version of Queue Up. I think I talked about the demo maybe a couple months ago, but as a reminder, this is the kind of like esports satirical game about people who are competing over flipping a coin.
Yes. Yeah.
And so, there's the Q side and the upside, and it's a best of 5 who can win 3 coin flips. But the real game is progressing meters, and you have like 3 or 4 of them where it's like you have experience, you have your rank, you have money. I think that's about it. And you play different characters, and basically the skill of the game is that you have this node grid with certain abilities based on whatever class you are, and then you kind of upgrade and move those nodes around to try and maximize like synergies.
Okay.
So to give you an example, I think in the base game, the classes are kind of bland. There's like a gambler, a medic, and then somebody who looks like kind of like a Chris Pratt, like Chad type gamer or whatever. Okay. But in the full game, there's like a little bit more interesting classes that I played. There's a whale class, which is like does a lot with the money, like trying to max out like your wallet size and utilizing that. There's a streamer class, which is just satiring people on Twitch, that has like a mechanic where every time you get a certain number of triggers above what your max is, you'll gain a follower up to that number, and then like your follower count will have influence on like how many points you earn for certain things. And then the last one is a robot class, which is the most like tinkery, computer sciencey type class, where it's a lot of go-to statements on your nodes, where it'll be like, when you activate this one, it'll activate everything between here and another one. And so you kind of set up paths of like how things trigger in specific orders. And then there's like rewards for doing things at very like precise intervals. So the classes are all pretty interesting. I think the full version was more worthwhile, or I'm glad that I played that and didn't just stop at the demo, because like all the classes are kind of more thematic based into like what the synergies are, and then they kind of have more like a more interesting design space of like how to organize things. In general, I'm pretty positive on the game. There are a few criticisms I have of it, but in general, I think the design is really good. It's a very like bare bones and like kind of sleek design where all you got is this like node system and moving things around and trying to optimize it that way. I think on top of that, there's like items you can buy and stuff like that you can kit your characters out with, and those have minor impacts as well. But it's mostly trying to mess around with this node grid and figuring out like what to optimize and what to go after, and finding like rewards that way. And kind of as an example of that, I'll just talk about the streamer class, because that's the one that I made the farthest with, is basically a lot of the nodes will basically do one thing on heads and one thing's on tails. And in this case, it'll like trigger things upwards to some degree if you get a win, like whatever your side is. It'll trigger things downwards if you get a loss. And so figuring out, you basically have two paths to go after. And so you can either try and do like loss minimization, where it's like, well, I'll try and get the most amount of points if I lose so that I still have like a positive result and like slowly level up. Or what I found is like could be a better strategy is just throw that all to the wayside and say, all right, I'm going to maximize, and if I get a win, then I'm just going to go like crazy high on my rank and just like go all in on that.
So you don't change the outcomes of the coin flips.
Yeah, the coin flips just happen. Yeah, there's no nudging of numbers, nothing like that. It's all about how your node grid reacts to whatever the outcome is.
Okay. But with probability, just like the spread, someone has to have won the most percentage, right? Like, well, so it's someone in this game, someone playing this game has the best win rate, right?
Kind of, because like the setup, again, since it's satirizing esports, it's 4v4, and so you're playing as a team, which kind of opens up to some interesting things, because it besides just making fun of esports, you can literally play online, and you can literally like party up with friends and play this game. But yeah, you're watching a coin flip. So it's like there is room for some like planning where it's like, hey, if we all equip these different items, then we'll get like this perk for doing like this sort of thing. There's like some room for optimization, but the large amount of optimization, like I eventually turned it to offline mode to play that, because I did one of my coworkers, shout out David, mentioned that you could do this, and I didn't even see it in the options menu, because it cuts down on like waiting for queue times, because at most you're only going to wait like maybe 15 to 20 seconds for a queue, if because eventually it'll just populate the room with bots and just have you play it that way. But if you turn offline mode, you just instantly get into it. And this kind of starts to go to one of the mild criticisms I have about the game, is there's no like skipping function of like all the activization, which makes sense if you're playing online, because everyone kind of has to like sit there and wait for their combos to go off. But if you're playing single player, it's like eventually when you get to the higher ends, like you might have 200 triggers of like these nodes, like in a certain way, and there's a game speed like slow, fast, and turbo. But even at turbo speed, like you're sitting there and waiting for like 10 to 20 seconds per coin flip. So that's like a mild.
It's an aquarium.
Sorry, what?
I said at that point it's an aquarium.
Yeah, and that's kind of like what the gameplay turns into. Is this is like, oh, okay, this is a second screen game where I click a button to queue in. Idle. Yeah, and then like watch it do its thing, and the gameplay is just setting everything up to begin with. that's kind of a point against it, where it's like I would much rather be able to do things much quickly or instantly see what the results are to like speed through that quicker. But then that also kind of points to another thing where it's like you're kind of waiting on a run of coins at a certain point to try and progress your rank up. They do have a nice feature where it's like once you level up to a certain rank, there's like 5 numbers within each rank. So like bronze 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like gold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that sort of thing. Once you hit a certain rank, you can't be demoted beyond that. But to get from the like 1 to 5, you could be on 5, and if you have like a bad flip or something, you could go all the way down to 1. And that frequently happens when you get to the higher levels, because one of the balancing mechanisms of the game is like when you start the game, it's like, you know, you get this many points on a win and you lose the same number of points on a loss, and it's just like a random walk. But when you get to the higher ranks, it's like you get 200 points if you win, and you get minus 9 million points if you lose. Like it's like that heavily weighted.
Right.
So it's like you either need to do something like really busted if you win, so that you turn that into a lot, or you need to somehow mitigate this like huge amount of negative points. And so there's kind of like an interesting strategy there, because it's like you have like your rank points, but then you also have like a multiplier on top of it. So if you go for some sort of multiplier strategy, that'll work to a certain point, but eventually that'll start working against you, where it's like, well, you have this huge deficit you need to overcome, and if you're still upgrading your multiplier, you're just multiplying a huge negative number by a huge multiplier, and that's going to like level you down really quickly. So there is some interesting balancing going on there, where that like kind of changes like, okay, how can I organize like my board, and how can I like upgrade it this way? And so it is cool, because as you're evolving, every character is leveled from like 1 to 50. And I think at every 5 levels, you'll either unlock a node on the board. I think that's what it is you unlock a node on the board. And then in between the 5 levels, you might unlock a flexible node, like a node that you choose where it goes. So it makes it pretty dynamic, because depending upon how far you've progressed, one strategy might work better than another. But it's still interesting in the end game, though, because once you get to like level 50, you've maxed out the level or whatever, you still are trying to find like this optimization of like, what's the absolute best way that I can do this? And like, what should I level up? And there's a lot of room for like creativity there. And they make it so it's like you can save off, and like you can save and load like layouts and share them with one another, like online. Like you can post like whatever they hash it into. The only problem is nobody's playing this game, so you can't find like loadouts that other people have chosen, or at least people aren't going up to, you know, like whatever the level is to beat it.
I'm sorry. It is so funny to me, the idea that this game, where the only game is the loadouts, people are still like net decking for that.
Yeah.
What? Why are you doing this if you're just getting your loadout from someone else?
Well, I mean, at a certain point, because it's like, or at least for me, it's like once I've gotten to level 50 and I've like taken my best shot at it, I'm like, this is the best thing that I've come up with. I'm very interested at that point to be like, all right, now what do other people have? And like, how much lower am I than like what's truly optimal, especially with the robot one. Like one of the things is like all the nodes on that one starts with a number, and one of the things that activates is like if this is the like nth activation you've had, activate a node that has that number 10 times. And so it's like if you're looking at a chain of like 200 node activations, and you're like, okay, how can I make it so the 65th one is this one? And like, how can I do that? Because like each node has like a capacity for how many times they can activate and stuff like that. It's that's a little bit too far for me, where I appreciate it that it's there, but I'm not spending my Saturday afternoon like counting that far deep. But I would be interested to see somebody else who has done that and check out their system.
I'd love if someone else threw their life away on this.
Sure. What? Hey, it's the internet. You have 1 billion people, you know, somebody's going to do it. But anyway, so I appreciate that that's all there, but there are like kind of like barriers to this game. The fact that like not enough people are playing it like that. The fact that you can't skip things, like make it go quicker in a certain way. I think the other thing that's like kind of holding it back a little bit too is they have like a narrative as you're progressing through it, where it's like, you know, slowly things happen where it's like, oh, you get sponsored, or then this game mechanic unlocks and you do this. But the problem is the narrative is the exact same for any of the 8 characters. So you're just playing the same game over and over again with each class. So that's like a little bit of a drawback. they try and mitigate it a little bit where there are like dynamic emails you get sent and can respond to based on the gameplay.
That only goes so far. Yeah.
There's some good ones where it's there's like a head-to-head battle you can do, and there's a whale character, like an actual whale, but it's also the person who does the money stuff. But you can kill them, and then if you do, you get like an email from like PETA being like, "Hey, that's not cool that you killed an animal. Like, do you want to donate some like chips to us?" Or anyway, there's some fun stuff like that that's kind of hidden in the game. But anyway, all let's say, I think the last thing I'll say about it too is the soundtrack is really awesome, and it's on YouTube and it's out. So that's worth a listen even if you don't play the game.
Nice.
So kind of a mixed bag with this one. I think there's kind of like an irony with like heads or tails in the game. It's game design itself kind of has that as well.
One quick question before you move on is, does the game do a good job of tracking and sharing your stats?
Yeah.
So you can share builds, but can you like open up a tab and see like win rate and how many times, over matches this is proccing?
To some degree, it is baked into the game where you can unlock a stats tab and look at it. But it typically just shows like your rank and your progression over time. And that way, it doesn't go, it's not like a spreadsheet or a database that they hand you and they're like, here's everything or something like that. Yeah. It's more like a kind of bare bones, like a Tableau board that you can look at. So they do a little bit of that. But I think the compliment that I'll end with this as well is like, I think the game design here is pretty novel, and I think this could be used like in another game really effectively, because I think it's great how open-ended it is, and then the room for optimization where it's like just on your own devices you can get something pretty good, but there's also like this like the sense that you could do something much more optimal if you try and improve things like just a little bit at a time. So so I thought that was pretty unique, and I think that's kind of why we give it a thumbs up. But
have you played any other incremental games besides this one?
I forget what we were defining as incremental games like from last week, because we were talking about Ball Pit and the other ones last week too.
No, I mean, just things like Cookie Clicker, the studio's previous game, Universal Paperclips. Stuff like that. I've
played like Cookie Clicker and some idle games before, like Digzeum, I think. But I mean, this one doesn't feel as much as an idle game to me, though.
This is more in like the, for lack of a better word, like engine builder. Kind of version of that.
A nerd sniping game.
Possibly. But you're just talking about it as something that you have off on the side. Like idle game is reductive, incremental game is vague. So it's like, and clicker is inaccurate for a game where your goal is to click as few times as possible. Engine builder is a good like catch-all term, I think. This is just kind of like maybe a flavor that I haven't seen as much before. So and I'm pairing this with, there's another game I've been playing this past week. I just started a few days ago, so I haven't gone too deeply into it. But this is another engine builder type game that I kind of found in the same recommendations, but it's called Nubby's Number Factory. This one's popular. This is like
Yeah, it is intentionally jank is how I would describe the design of it a little bit, or the presentation of it rather. This is like a pachinko game. I just heard it. I saw it on a recommendations list for one of the better games that come out the past year. But the premise is it's similar to something like a Slay the Spire or a Balatro sort of thing, where it's like you're basically picking jokers and like picking things that'll help build whatever the core mechanic of the game is. In this case, it's a pachinko game instead of like a deck builder or a fighter or something like that. And the pachinko game works in a weird way where you have, similar to Balatro, you have a target number you're trying to hit every time. And I'm pretty sure it's dynamic because of like how crazy you can make the numbers go. Where the target will change based on how high you're getting kind of dynamically. But so say your target, the first round is like 8. You might have like 10 pachinko balls that all have a number 1 on it. And as you bounce your ball around, it'll do the sum of all the numbers that you hit.
Okay.
But then after each round, it'll combine. It'll add a certain number of balls to the board and they'll combine, similar to like 2048, if we remember that game from a decade plus ago. So the numbers start getting bigger, but then the targets start getting bigger. And so then you kind of rely on like these items that you buy from a shop that'll do something as you're playing the pachinko game. So an example of what the somethings could be is it's like every time a ball is halved, because every time you hit a number, it'll go to half of what it was, and then you get the point of what you hit. So it'll still persist, but when it's 1 and you hit it, then it disappears. And so you basically either bounce around until you destroy pegs, or you miss the pegs and fall off the map and die. And so you have like a certain like hit points or like lives of like number of balls that you can shoot. It's usually like 4 or 5 that can reset after each stage or increment after each stage, but sometimes you'll have like a last shot eventually, and you can't persist from there. But anyway, you're hitting the numbers, the targets get bigger, and then like what are some of the other jokers? You might spawn things that help destroy balls. You might there's things that every few seconds it'll activate, that sort of thing. And then, so it's sort of like a Slay the Spire sort of thing where it's like you have these main sorts of weapons, but then it's like you have trinkets on top of trinkets on top of trinkets. You have like books that will activate these trinkets that you have at certain points. There's like a food cafe that you can buy and like modifies things that's very unsightly, where you stick the food in a mouth in the wall that eats it, and then that will give you the upgrade. The entire time you're playing the pachinko machine game, there's a picture of, I think, the person who created the game.
There's a little avatar doing doom faces.
Yeah. It will go like buck wild if you do something really crazy in the pachinko game. But basically, like, everything's configurable. You can buy different balls. I don't know what the effect of that is yet because I haven't unlocked enough. You can buy different characters, which is just changing the avatar in the least effort way possible. Like an elf version will just put elf ears on him. Like an alien will just put another set of glasses above his eyes, like that sort of thing.
Hold on though. What I'm watching right now, they've got like red eyes, and it looks like it's firing lasers across the actual game grid. So is that a mechanical effect?
That is a boss that you're looking at. So eventually you go through like stages. You start off like on Earth, and you go to the moon, and then I think you go somewhere else. So you're like progressing through space, like in each stage. I don't really know what that impacts, other than the numbers are just getting bigger, really. And again, I'm pretty sure it's dynamic, because like what's cool is you can get combos going where it's like, it almost seems like you can go infinite. It almost feels that way. If you get enough combos that like complement one another. So it's like, the target might be like 100,000 and you hit like 1 billion or something like that. And so if you go over whatever the target is, it'll tell you the X times that you've gone above that, and you get rewarded for that, for whatever X is. And you get rewarded in money that you can spend at this like weird Lynchian cafe that you can go to. And then it has one other bonus as well, but I think it does something with like how many times the numbers are increasing and the rate at which they're increasing. So that's kind of like things that you can do, is you can try and get this like runaway situation where it's like, it gets easier and easier as the game goes on. It feels like you are about to do that with certain combinations. But anyway, the avatar that you pick as well, like that changes some sort of ability that will kind of change the weighting of the items, where like some things that are not as valuable in some runs are like much more valuable now. So like an example of this is, there's one where it's like every time you do X over the board, you get 3 gold instead of 1 gold. And then your gold limit is like higher than average. It's like 200 cap instead of 100 cap. And so then it's like you can try and buy all these crazy things in the store and maximize whatever that does, instead of focusing on like your item synergies. So it is like kind of dynamic with like how you're playing it based on like what your setup is. I've only played the game with like, I think 3 different avatars so far. So I'm still kind of scratching the surface of this game. I think I've probably played it for maybe like 2 to 4 hours, like that sort of thing. I can't say if I recommend it yet or not, because I'm not deep enough in it, but it is, it has a certain amount of charm underneath the jankiness of it. So I don't know. We'll see.
I love the aesthetic of this.
Yeah.
Like, this is like nostalgic for me. This like late web 1.0. Like, Hypnospace Outlaw had some of this, but Dream Settler was going to have more of it. But like the kind of Newgroundsy, kind of GeoCities, like a little bit of a like a default game maker asset kind of aspect to this. Like, this is real fun. I like the clip artness of it.
Yeah, it definitely rides the line of it, because it's like, one thing that's charming is there's like a warehouse section of like the game menu you can go to with like upgrades, and when you go there's like a full screen avatar of the person that looks straight out of like PlayStation 1 era like skateboarding type thing, and he just like talks to you, you know, with somewhat charming and annoying type quips. So that's like a point in its favor. And then like when you quit the game, there's a giant fart sound, and it's like, okay, sure. Okay, I'll take the good with the bad, you know, sure. Yeah. It's committing to the bit. So, it's definitely goofy. So I don't know. We'll see. I'll probably play it more in the next week or so. And so probably we'll have more definitive things to say about it later, but yeah.
So much italicized Comic Sans. That's
I think this is the first pachinko game that I've played, so I don't know how I feel about that either.
Oh, does Peggle mean nothing to you?
I think I missed it because I never had an iPhone. So
never played Hold Down.
I don't think so. No, I made it for Temple Run. That was my entry point, I think.
Gotcha. So. Okay,
I'm trying to create a portmanteau of pachinko and Philistine right now, because that's what you are, sir.
Philistinko.
It hurts, but I'm pleased.
We've got our title.
I don't know about that one.
Multiplayer.
Now it's time for the multiplayer, where we ask you a question and then you answer it. Dennis, what is the question that you ask the nice people?
Yeah, so there is nothing worse than an interface that is in your face. So this week we're talking about your favorite game elements that actually put information in the game world instead of on a HUD.
All right.
So is VR technically an interface that is in your face?
I'll allow it.
Yes. I would say yes. Let's see here. We have Chicken Riggies. Jack here, he says, Ghost of Tsushima's wind as a quest indicator was a really good use of diegetic interfacing. Contrast that with, for example, Dead Space, which just sploots out a line to follow. Sploots out a line is really good.
Yes. It is a surprising and yet accurate way of describing it.
Yes.
I do not remember the wind effect from Ghost of Tsushima, though. I need to go back and play that.
Oh, maybe it was really subtle. Yeah. Let's see. Ben, what does Jala say?
Jala says, I am ruling out audio logs and notes. Dishonored is rich in environmental storytelling and overheard conversations. I love coming across a locked room corpse and piecing together how it died, or popping into a home and learning the dirty secrets of the inhabitants.
Absolutely. God, Dishonored's so good.
It's particularly good on that front. Although interface-wise, what was I'm trying to remember now? Like, how did it communicate the like health and stuff like that to you? Was that
meters
on? Yeah, okay, that's still meters.
Yep. Hey Moxie, what's Dixie Enormous say?
It gets you every time.
Sorry, it's one of the classics, you know.
Dixie Enormous says games like Killing Floor and Deep Rock Galactic that use sound design to tell you when an elite enemy is nearby. No mini-map needed. The shiver that runs up my spine when I hear a Scrake rev up its chainsaw lets me know it's time to lock in.
Yeah, Left 4 Dead is good about that too. While we're talking about co-op multiplayer games, right?
Any of those horde games really need to nail this. And it's hilarious that I haven't played Killing Floor in so long, and yet when they talk about the Scrake revving up its chainsaw, I know exactly what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Dennis, round us out with what Callum says.
Yeah, Callum says, the picture, which I posted a picture of Dead Space, is my favorite example of this. Dead Space manages to fully immerse the HUD in the world and character model. Even the inventory management was a projection from the suit. It still managed to convey all the information needed. It was kind of fun when playing Dead Space just to see all the creative ways that they stuck with their convention of everything is a real projection of the suit without making it clunky or intrusive.
Yeah.
They left that to the gameplay.
I mean, it's also like the example of this too, right? It is the one that like the biggest title that was the most obvious about doing this.
And I
right?
feel like kind of it's the one that put it on the map.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Man, Dead Space. Sorry. Excuse me, man. That's a great game.
No. So for mine, I am going to go with Rule of Rose, handling navigation by dog.
Look this one up.
Yes. Rule of Rose is a survival horror game from the PS2 era that I've streamed it a couple of times. It's notable now for being very expensive and not having been well received at the start. Kind of like it's like the classic example of like the story and aesthetics of this is like next level. You're not going to find anything else like it, but the play is so bad that it makes you need to go see the doctor.
Oh no.
Yeah. But you play as a young girl who has a dog that you find very early on in the story, and the levels can be big and labyrinthine. Like you have a map, but like if you're not finding what you need, by exploring, you can show items to the dog and say, hey, go find more like this. So like it's a way to like kind of chain navigate from item to item that you're trying to get, like
that's really fun
as you're pursuing. So like it is artificial because like the dog is just a menu and it is like leading you. In addition, it's got some like minor combat utility or whatever, but like it's pretty far ahead of the curve. Like before you really had, this came out in like 2005, 2006, something like that. Like that was before you really had like waypoints as quest markers and stuff like that. So something that was a kind of like inbuilt kind of hint system or navigation system was a welcome affordance, and one that I, hadn't really seen.
You made me think of Scratch in Baldur's Gate 3.
Mm-hmm.
I never explored it much, but I think they did have some utility in terms of like finding hidden buried stuff.
I'm not sure. Like maybe if you have him around, like he gives you an extra like survival kind of role to see that stuff that stuff is buried. Scratch's biggest use for me is he is a free summon and he can revive. So like if somebody if somebody gets down, he's an extra thing with a lot of movement that can go and take somebody up from downed.
Yeah, Scratch's biggest utility for me was wandering off after aforementioned smells and starting combats.
Oh yeah, he'll do that. but it's good for it's like summoning him during like big boss encounters and stuff.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah. Let's see, Ben, how about you?
I feel like I have a basic answer that maybe if I thought longer, I would have something better. But I was going to say The Last of Us with the UI menu of getting stuff out of your backpack in game and not like being able to pause the actual game, combined with the fact that like your treasured items are things like scissors or duct tape, like as a good like environmental storytelling of like what's going on in the world.
Yeah. Just scavenging for very practical things. You get that kind of like Fallout 4 style thing. Yeah.
And making it make diegetic sense that you're Roombaing around every area you're in.
Yeah. You would be fucking looking for tape. I would. Right? Yeah.
Raid that Amazon warehouse.
Moxie, how about you?
So I've got two, as per usual. So in the Division, they do a lot of color coding. So like anything that can be looted is this kind of yellowish orange color, which is mostly like like chests and stuff like that tend to be boxes tend to be colored that color. But then it'll also be things like sometimes if there's a like garage, if it's marked yellow, that there's some puzzle to open it, and there'll be some loot inside, stuff like that. So I think that's pretty cool. The other one, this isn't one I actually played, but one I watched you play. I don't know if it counts, but a lot of the like environmental effects in what was the game, the Russian game where you're playing as the nun?
Oh, Indica.
Yeah, like that the stuff they do with the interface is really cool.
Yeah. God, Indica's a special game. Yeah. Dennis, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll go with two as well. You gotta shout out the classic Uncharted yellow for climbable surfaces, and just in general that color coding is universal. But the one that I thought of was from Hellblade. Senua's Sacrifice, the audio cues as a cue to dodge.
Oh, for the punch out.
Really,
yeah.
Although
really
that isn't subtle.
I guess it is.
No, I think it totally counts. I'm just giving you a hard time.
Hella diegetic, and I like that it solved the problem of off-screen enemies, one-shotting you. Like either off-screen enemies get a cheap blow against you, or they're programmed to never attack from where you can't see them. And I really appreciated that Hellblade kind of had this, your subconscious or whatever you want to call it, sensing that they're about to hit you and getting to like, watch out.
Yeah.
That reminds me of...
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, remember the Strange Brigade, how they would do that, where you'd see little, like, zombie hands if something was coming behind you?
That's right. Yeah, does that count as a UI element, though? Yeah, the only other thought I had for Hellblade was there was a bit of a learning curve of which of your subconscious cues were actually you need to dodge and which of them were just, psyching yourself out.
Pick outs.
Which you could, as you got familiar with the game, distinguish between the two, and I appreciated that.
Nice.
One other that I can't believe that none of us said is Trespasser.
Trespasser, the Jurassic Park game, like a first person shooter, but more of like a physics-based puzzler. Like this came out like in 2000 or so. The health bar was a tattoo of a heart that was on the top of your character's breast, and you looked down at your own rack to see how much health you had left, like based on how full it is.
That's 2000s as shit.
Yeah.
Well, and this was, in its defense, like this was a game that went 100% on like no interface.
Yeah.
Okay, was so they had to get creative with it.
It was also famous for having like an incredibly state of the art like sound system. So like they had sound files for what every item in the game sounds like when it gets hit. And so when two objects collided into each other, they would mix and like come up, the system would come up with what does it sound like when these two materials hit.
Mm-hmm.
But
And was that functionally used in any puzzles or gameplay?
Put that in an engine.
It was just for immersion as what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
this is what happens when you let the game developers do whatever they want.
Like melee attacks, it wasn't just I equip a bat and then you press the attack button and it swings. It's like you press the button to hold it out and then you just kind of like whipped the mouse around to swing it. It also had like a ridiculous AI kind of loadout for the to model the dinosaur behavior that was bugged in its implementation. So stuff that shouldn't have been aggressive was, and stuff that should have been aggressive wasn't.
That just sounds like Jurassic Park.
Yeah, it's it is like weirdly a whole bunch of the could should dichotomy, right?
Yeah,
that's on brand with Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
I'm really
this
disappointed.
just screams like. Oh, go ahead.
I'm really disappointed that Jurassic World didn't have any like trespassers Easter eggs.
Yeah, I think that nobody knows it or wants to remember it. I think it's only bad game sickos who are like all about it.
I was gonna say that would apply to Jurassic
sickos and people who had their eggs cracked.
Well, yeah,
I guess so.
yeah. There's also that. Yeah. So good answers all. Thank you, Dennis, for posting the question. If you would like to participate in these, go follow us on Blue Sky at the Level Podcast at bsky.social. Watch for the prompts to go up on Monday afternoons.
The End Boss.
Now it is time for the End Boss, where we talk about things that are happening in the world of video games and how we feel about them. Moxie, I'm going to start with you. What is this Fortnite story regarding child labor?
Yeah, that's a heck of a setup. So Fortnite, for a long time has had microtransactions, and there was a brief period of time when they had loot boxes, but when there was public outcry about the fact that it's basically gambling and kids like stealing their parents' credit cards and stuff like that, they quickly got rid of the loot boxes and promised never to do that again.
Mm-hmm.
Which I suppose is technically still true, because what Epic has done is they've added the ability for creative islands, which are basically levels that were created by players to have in-game purchases or in-island purchases, I guess. And as you might imagine, several games immediately, did just the most horrible implementations of that. They specifically cite a game called Steal the Brain Rot, which is apparently a remake of a Roblox game called Steal a Brain Rot.
Okay.
That
I don't see how they're related.
It's a subtle situation, more of a homage. And like it sells in-game items ranging from like $22 to $36. And several others have actually I think the same one, Steal Brain Rot, also has straight up loot boxes.
Yeah. But it's a prize reel where you can pay.
Yes.
Like they make the conversion rate impossible, but like you can pay like $4 or $5 in order to spin a wheel to possibly get in-game stuff. I don't understand the economy of how this works, other than it turns money into bullshit.
There's also in the screenshot from the article a prominent ad for you to go from 1x to 2x for 15 minutes for 200 V-bucks, and I for the life of me cannot figure out what you are 2xing. So this feels
you're
like a real,
twice the thing.
Yeah, feels like a real how dumb do I think they are? Let's see what we can get away with kind of game.
Oh my god.
Yep. So gambling's back on the table, and kind of semi-indirectly child labor.
Yep. Well, I mean, if you are relying on, I hate it. This sucks.
Wait, what's the child labor thing? I think I missed that.
They're making the games.
Yeah.
Ah, yes. Okay.
Yeah. So it's it was. Roblox was the one where, but it's just like it was the first one that kind of did this. Not the first, obviously, but like, oh, you can use our creative tools to make and sell something in the game, and then that creates just cascading perverse incentives that puts kids to work making bullshit games. Yeah. The
kids long for the agile process. Also, this is just a side that I found kind of funny. Apparently, someone in Roblox made a ripoff of Peak, simply called Cliff, and the developer of the Peak has said, to be honest, I would rather you pirate our game than play this microtransaction riddled slop.
Yeah. Like, Peak is not designed to rook you out of any money.
Yeah, how dare
right?
they?
Yeah, just like $8 and then you're done. And $8 is $5, as we've learned. God, I love that so much.
It would be pretty on brand. I would love to see them add an item that was some sort of microtransaction bot where you had to bring in enough coconuts to get something or something like that.
God, so dumb. Let's get a bummer story. Let's put the bummer in the middle. Dennis, what did Meta do?
Yeah, it's sad. They bought all these game studios to make VR games, and then decided, we're distracted by AI now, and closed them. So
shiny object syndrome.
Unfortunately, so Sanzaru, Twisted Pixel, and Armature are the studios that had been brought in explicitly because Meta was serious about VR games. And I mean, man, Deadpool VR just came out, and they've dropped the toy and are on to the next thing, which is very sad.
Twisted Pixel's been around for fucking ever,
Yeah,
and it's a bummer to see them gone. Especially I don't know. I believe you that Deadpool is good. I have played Asgard's Wrath 2, and though I didn't finish it, I've played all of it. Or I've not played Deadpool, but so Sanzaru did Asgard's Wrath 2. That's a really good game, and that got a ton of acclaim.
Yeah,
it was like the system selling pack-in for the Meta Quest 3, and then the Resident Evil 4 VR port is fucking amazing. And I fucking hate that literally just because.
I didn't realize they did the port for Resident Evil 4.
Yeah, they did. They did the Quest VR port, which is really good.
Okay.
Because it's the classic RE4, not the VR version of the RE4 remake. Yeah.
Yeah, there
got it. Okay.
Incredible games in VR and incredible studios, but because no one can figure out how to scale VR to be a Fortnite level success, the hype is wearing off and all this stuff is getting jettisoned, which is just criminal.
To lay out a timeline here, Meta pivoted I mean, Facebook pivoted to the metaverse, like what, in like 2020, 2021-ish. I forget when they changed their names, but it was like roughly around
somewhere around
then.
there.
That was specifically Mark Zuckerberg wanting to change the narrative because of whistleblowers coming out and saying that like Meta's apps, Facebook and Instagram and all of that, demonstrably have a negative impact on people's like emotional health. Basically, like the story about how they run like psychological experiments on everybody. The change to to VR was an effort to change the narrative and basically get as far away from the Facebook branding as possible. And so like all of this money that they threw onto a bonfire, trying to make Meta Horizon or whatever, but also like the rebrand and then buying all of these studios. So like the second they no longer needed that clover leaf because enough time had passed and because they again got a shiny new object in VR, something that will, please investors, all of that. Suddenly all of these people, all these very good game makers' livelihoods just gone.
They are pivoting to AI and wearable tech, which I'm sure 5 years from now it'll be dropped to pivot for the next thing and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's weird to me because VR is wearable tech.
Yeah, right?
That's the thing, is like a good company would just pivot the people that you have and have them work towards that instead of like acquiring and like firing companies,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and
like
and this is like such one of the largest companies, so it's like they have the money to take the hit, like for doing that sort of thing as well. And it's like,
the market, just the fact that there is not more antitrust, antitrust prosecution, that there's not more protection for this kind of like acquisition. The fact that like none of these big companies have done any like innovation on their own. They just buy smaller companies that do shit. To the point where like everybody's goal in starting a company is to get bought, is like just so fucking deleterious to anything resembling anything but short-term shareholder value. That's not a way to make anything that lasts.
I have to wonder if you're Sanzaru or Twisted Pixel and you get the call of like, hey, we want to acquire you. There has to be a meeting at some point where you're like, all right, everyone keep each other's contact information. We'll ride this as far as we can. And then when they start jettisoning people, like we'll go right back to what we were doing before.
Yeah.
Maybe even like, hey, we'll keep a little side project going or something. I cannot imagine, Kaye, to you, what you were saying, like people are angling to get acquired, but I have to imagine people are starting to like plan for being laid off when the shiny object changes.
Right. I mean, especially after the past few years. I mean, like all you have to do is look at Microsoft's acquisitions.
Yeah, I think people who work in the video game industry are used to how tumultuous it is and can ride that sort of turbulence, but they shouldn't have to, though.
They shouldn't have to.
Yeah, totally.
It shouldn't be this like hyper, like non-unionized version of the Hollywood model. And I'm just up here with all of my old sauce.
It's a shame more people won't get to see Neil Patrick Harris's Deadpool because it was good.
I mean, it'll still be available for sale as long as they have that store up.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Fair. So that's my bummer article.
Okay. We talked about one company that pivoted to AI. Let's talk about one that is very much pivoting away from it. It is a small indie game publisher called Hooded Horse. They publish actually quite a few like really good recent management city builder kind of games. So like they publish looking at the Destructoid article here, Manor Lords, Against the Storm, Cataclysmo, Endless Legends, I think the entire Endless series, so Endless Space as well. Darkwood 2, I think they have up here. They have come out and said, nobody who works with us can use AI. Like, if you use AI, you are no longer distributed by us. The CEO coming out saying that the technology is a cancer, saying that all it ever did was make their life more difficult, going as far as saying, I fucking hate Gen AI art. No, their contracts include a clause for no fucking AI assets.
I hope it's literally that in the contract.
I hope so too. I know nothing about this company besides a couple of the games that they have published and this particular stance. But this, to me, in the midst of all of these controversies, regarding Claire Obscure, regarding, Larian, and, AI use in the new Divinity game that's going to be coming out, et cetera, et cetera. Like, I think that this is the way, like, this is a more meaningful version of like the little like label that was put on albums in the late 2000s, early 2010s. Like this was recorded in a studio with no hard drives or something like that. Like, just proactively come out and say, like, hey, we're just not doing this. This is a guarantee from us because we, just assertively saying it. I felt the same way about putting putting on like labels like this was made without crunch, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I think that any of those, like, just affirmative, it's not just enough to, it's not just enough to not do it. It is, you have to provide a positive for people to gravitate toward, right? So this just makes me like these guys more, and I already liked Against the Storm. Manor Lords looks really interesting. Cataclysmo, all of that. So,
man,
see, all we need is for the big corporations to catch on that it's really easy to say that something doesn't have AI. Mm-hmm. The same way that you can say, like, oh, this was made without asbestos. This was made without so many things that
this bottled water is gluten free.
Yeah. Yes. and maybe that is the way we get the people to start shifting away from it.
Yeah. Just give your product a halo. I don't care if it's just another form of greenwashing or whatever. Like, just socially reinforce as much as possible that no AI is the cred. Yeah. It is the move for credibility.
If we can leverage people's laziness to get them to do the right thing, we will.
Nice.
Yeah. And Ben, you don't have any stories?
Nope.
Okay. Well,
none that can be shared on air anyway.
Yeah, that's a patron only special. Not really.
Ben, put your shirt back on.
How does everybody feel about buttoning it up?
Buttons.
Pathetic.
Very Jala
impression.
Yeah. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening to level number 571. That was 6 years ago. Level 271 was. Yeah, let me think here. You know what to do to support us. Go to patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv, support the network, participate in the multiplayer by following us at thelevelpodcast.bsky.social, leave ratings or reviews wherever you can. And I don't say this enough on this show. Join us in thanking our producer, Gwen. Thank you, Gwen.
Thanks, Gwen.
Yeah. Is there anything that I'm forgetting?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Yep. So I've been Kaye. You can find me on Blue Sky at Kaye.zone.
I've been Dennis Furia. You can find me on Blue Sky at Furia Games.
I've been Moxie.
And I've been Ben Merkel.
And stick around for some titles. I don't have any. Who has some?
Got 4.
Okay.
I have 2 from early on, bonus hammock. And then I want to eat a shiny Magikarp.
Okay. I forgot I said that.
Yeah. One that went under the radar. Most people are human. talking
That's
about
just a
Pathologic,
true
but I
statement.
found that very amusing in isolation.
Uh-huh.
And then, of course, Philistinko.
So I had one, and it was Philistinko.
Okay.
I had two. I had "It's Just Another Gun," referring to RoboCop's dick, and then I had Philistinko.
Okay. And Philistine only has one L. All right. It is decided.